Hello, this is the Traveling Kimchi. So today I have another video request, and this one comes from Fashion Glam, and she was asking me to do a video about phones in Korea. So when I'm talking about phones in Korea, I'm going to talk about two main things, and one is phones, and the other one is phone plans. So let's start with phones. So when you look at bringing a phone to Korea, there are two things, either buying in Korea or bringing your own. So when you're thinking about buying, I know some of you might be looking at these really cool Korean phones and these Korean dramas and being like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get an awesome high-tech phone from Korea. Let's stop and think about that for a little bit. If you're thinking about buying new, you're without a phone plan, you're looking at spending about $500 to $600. So much the same way when you buy a phone in America, it's cheaper if you buy the phone with a phone plan. So for example, AT&T and iPhone have this little co-deal. And if you buy the iPhone, when you buy an AT&T plan, the iPhone's about $100, and that's really reasonable. But the contract for AT&T is minimum maybe 2 years. And if you go buy an iPhone and then go buy a plan separately, the iPhone itself is about $500 in the Apple Store, and then you have to find a plan that fits your financial needs. So much the same way in Korea, if you're thinking about buying the Samsung Galaxy or the blah 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 phone, and you don't want to be set up with a minimum 2-year contract plan, you're looking at spending about $500 to $600 on a phone. Of course, if you're willing to buy a plan with it, it's much cheaper, but if you're only teaching for about a year, realize that you might have to research a little bit about how much it costs to break the contract after a year, if there's a penalty, something like this. So I can't give you complete details on that because that's not what I did, but if you want to buy the phone cheaper with the phone plan, definitely do a little bit of research about how much it costs to break your contract early. If you're staying more than 2 years, that's definitely a really good option for you. The other thing with buying is buying used. Now, if you want to buy used, there are plenty of places to buy used phones. I don't have to name one. You'll be able to find one just walking down the street, trust me. Now, when it comes to buying used phones, the bonus is it's much cheaper, but of course you don't know what kind of phone you're buying. For example, you don't know what it's been through. So before you leave the store, you want to test everything that's on this phone. So test all the buttons, make sure all the buttons are working. If it has a camera, test the camera. If it has touchscreen, make sure the touchscreen is working, and make sure to test the charger before it leaves. Also, if they have a SIM card there that you can use, do a test phone call on the phone, because once you leave, any problem that arises with this phone is basically your problem. You can't bring it back to the store and say, hey, I just bought this yesterday and now it's not doing this. They won't be able to help you. It's your problem. So make sure to check everything about this phone before you leave the store. Another option is bringing your phone. So if you want to bring your own phone from America, this is what I did. I brought my iPhone. You want to make sure that the phone can carry a SIM card in it, and it can also support 2100 megahertz band. So if you have a Korean phone like a Samsung or something in America, you're basically all set. Just make sure it has fulfills these requirements before you bring it over. Also, if you want to bring an iPhone, which is what I did, to Korea, you want to make sure that your phone is jailbroke and unlocked. These are two separate things. They're not the same thing. Don't confuse that for the same thing. They're two different things. Jailbreak and unlock your iPhone. So you can do this if you're with AT&T, depending where you are on your contract, sometimes they can do it for you for free. If they can't, you can also do this with a third company, and it costs about, I want to say, $70 to $100 depending on the kind of iPhone you have. So when it comes to talking about phone plans, of course I can't go completely in depth because it's a little bit different for each company, each person, and yada yada. So I'll just try to do some general requirements. Basically, they're contract plans, so phone plans that you can make with a contract. For example, SK is one of the biggest cell phone companies here, and it's much like AT&T. So if you're looking at having a plan with them, it's usually going to be a contract, and the minimum contract is usually about 2 years. So if you're only staying for a year, this probably isn't the best option for you, but if you're staying longer, this is probably a really nice option for you. If a 2-year contract isn't a feasible idea for you, you can always go with a smaller phone company that offer monthly plans. So if you go with one of these, of course there's a contract, but there's no minimum requirement on them. So basically you can break the contract after any amount of time, but you will have a signed agreement of how much minutes, text, and 3G you get per month. So in the same way you would have a phone contract with SK that's 2 years and it says you get 300 minutes, 250 text messages, and unlimited 3G, you'd have the same thing with this smaller phone company, but you pay it monthly. And if you want to break it after 3 months, you can break the contract after 3 months. If you want to break it after a year, you can break it after a year. So there's no minimum requirement on the contract. Another option is a prepaid phone. So basically, when you want to get a prepaid phone, what you need is your passport, your phone, the IMEI, and the serial number on your phone. So you need to bring your own phone and have this information about the phone. So basically what happens is you bring your phone and they give you a SIM card and you put the money on the SIM card and you use your phone, and each time you use your phone it deducts money off of your SIM card money amount. So you can put more money on it and continue using it. The one thing with this is with prepaid phones, the SIM card is set up to where it only works for 3 months. So if you're staying longer than 3 months, you want to go and bring your visa with you to the phone company. So you basically show them the visa that proves you're eligible to stay for a year, and they will change the SIM card so it continues working after 3 months. So if you're staying for a year, go ahead and bring your visa with you when you go and get your prepaid phone. So with the prepaid phone, some of the fees are the SIM card. The SIM card will cost you about 5,500 won, which is about $5.50. The startup fee is 2,000 won, which is about $2. And with the SIM card, for the usage, it's 300 won, so that's about 30 cents per minute. For text, it's 31, so that's about 3 cents per text. And then for megabyte usage, it's about 600 won. So that's about 60 cents per megabyte. So those are the fees that usually go with a prepaid phone. If you're looking at getting a contract or a monthly plan, you'll usually need your passport, your foreigner's ID, a phone unless you're buying it there, and info like your address or something, some place where they can contact, and if you're having your bill sent to you, things like this. So that's all I have to say about phone and phone plans in Korea. I hope it makes your stay here a little bit easier. Later I'll be making a video about phone apps, so hopefully these phone apps will make your stay here a little bit easier too. This is the Traveling Kimchi. Bye!